The sealed archive of the Akashic Scribe and the dreaming body of the Enochian. A canticle of the living record, the watching threshold. At the memory that the cosmos keeps of every trembling noise. Indo thou who pressed thine ear to the subtle plane, heard the record playing. Unabridged, each thought, each whispered prayer, each joy and pain preserved intact. Air itself were vellum, and if every word once spoken left its frequency, and a bare and permanent could still be overheard by the prepared receiver. I think you're more plastic. Whose inner instrument had been attuned through practice, through the patient overrun of the ego's noise, until the twin silence of the deeper listening caught what ordinary hours let drift and lose. No threat from the living memory that we choose to call the cosmos, choosing to remember everything without selection. And equally as Augustine December presents assent. Systematically, who pressed the prepared consciousness against the living archive and athletically retrieved what the ordinary fenced away from. The evolution of the earth through the Saturn, sun and moon conditions. Adding more to human additions of the etheric inner. Each layer of the being built in sequence on cosmic time. Millions of the cosmic holding all the stages in the unbroken record. That the clairvoyant who turns the pages reads, if the reading instrument is right. What discipline makes the instrument right? What years of practice inward, cold and prepare the consciousness for the bright immensity of the recordum. At the ghost fortress, not destroyed, but rendered transparent, so that the cosmic light, undimmed and kindled by the sets refining, think that sight. At the red dead place sound not through wild. At the avant-garde of the cosmos reading itself through plumes of the prepared human instrument. In that castilidem, Osteiner's fast cosmology circling that reads the permanent and living archive of the Roman and Rain shed three hold that in us. Here come Gumty, whose office is distinct, steadfast between the Homo seeker and the pure transmission of them, angelic plane, whose name in the 48 circular bones means silently sounded them. At the pull circuit inside through them, kins that in what is silken. Expect is Rick Wild to Wild. Indeed, the was prepared, making kin open. Ade dong dong mons dong that you can sing. See that? So like a make that big on that. Ingrid Gomez. The wild bone gates of the watch to wife. What does of them ending kin inside kin? I deg drink a lady shed. What watches at the threshold of the noon? I think the legends sail through them, staying between the human mind them. Bone gun singers. Gash taking. I'd write continuously that never rests, that holds the record. At the break. No. No. Without that rise or fall of the moral judgment merely records as the eye records without comment. What passes through its field, records of light that tie-ish act through its moment. Watch us watch and gap. Prepared receiver. In the little monster singers. In the little gum. And the most kind killers. Threshold whole bones up. And the cosmos speaks itself into the wide meanings. Express the clairvoyance to the subtle plane. Thus watch the watcher at the ether's gate. And all the living record held the stain and splendor of each act in deathless state. Akashic static / watcher cuts the threshold freaking sinuan. Living records sings. No characters, no shred them, they shed. Akashic hold the meetups. According to everyone who claims to have read. The fifth element. Sanskrit skilled space eaten. At a medium in which all events leave their permanent impression. At the almost that keeps a permanent record of every event, without deletion, without reduction, without the file marked in. In the almost that has solved the oversight problem. No institution can corrupt that guy. It's not institutional, it is cosmic. And the cosmos has no political pressure to edit what it keeps. This is the most reassuring fact available. Or the most, depending on what you've done and whether you were counting on it not being written. Rudolf Steiner, Austrian, 1861, 1925, claimed systematic access, not visions, not flashes, systematic, repeatable like research, like going to the library. And you have spent 30 years preparing. That's kind of consciousness to be the instrument that can read the Geisen says. Steiner treated the Akashic record the way I treated the cutup. A repeatable technique, not a mystical accident. You prepare the instrument, you apply the instrument, you record what comes through, you compare the results across multiple sessions for consistency. This is not mysticism, this is methodology applied to a domain that the standard methodology refuses to enter. Because the instrument required is the prepared consciousness. And no one wants to admit that the prepared consciousness is a legitimate research instrument. Burroughs sets Steiner read the Akashic records. Anthroposophy, biodynamic agriculture, wild-life education, eurythmy, a complete cosmology of planetary evolution. From Saturn condition to Vulcan condition, spanning more time than geology currently allows, whether you believe the source. Output is the most comprehensive thing any single mind produced in the 20th century, from whatever it was reading in whatever archive it had access to. A lefty on them. Prepared consciousness pressing the subtle plane Akashic archive, receiving the impression every act preserved without editing. Watcher standing at the 8-eye threshold, Arai HT columns. Subtle plane pressing. Receiving the Akashic archive editing preserved without every act threshold standing that. The fold is the threshold, the fold is the place. Prepared receiver becomes permeable to the archive it has been preparing to read the fold. It's the moment the ego becomes transparent enough to let the record read through it. Without the record becoming the ego's interpretation of the record, which is the difficulty every reader of the Akashic faces, and must fail the paper at him. Steiner's exercises concentration, called thought control, equanimity, positivity, open-mindedness, each practiced systematically for years. Before the subtle plane becomes readable, Geisen sets safety and same preparation as the dream. Yoga, you train the instrument before you point it at the thing the untrained instrument would destroy. By reading incorrectly, the prepared consciousness is the only instrument that can read the app. Without converting it immediately into what the reader already believes, which is what unprepared instrument always does with every source. Confirms itself in the material it examines. Burroughs says the discipline required to prepare the consciousness to read the Akashic record is the discipline I avoided by using the cut-up is the shortcut to the prepared instrument. Bypasses the years of equanimity practice by cutting the ego out of the reading mechanically rather than spiritually. Both methods are trying to get the same things. The signal without the receiver's prior beliefs contaminating the reception. Steiner chose the long way, I chose the scissors. The archive was the same archive 5. Interlude Steiner whilst the sight rekinking. At the box was the moon condition. Food and moon the sound condition. Condition. There was only warmth and no light. Only the warmth of the thrones giving the substance to the beginning. Don't know at the pussy that holds the warmth of the beginning as precisely as it holds what you said to your neighbor on Tuesday. The decade does not distinguish between the cosmic and the Tuesday. This is either its limitation or its greatness. Greatness, the English. This system, the 48 angels of the watchtowers, in the most an intelligence is assigned to the threshold between the human mind and the pure transmuters. Burroughs says, Hierophant that he lists, intelligence assigned to stand between unprepared singer. I think that would destroy the unprepared singer. Not from malice, but from the pole of the transmission and the untrained receiver. Is not a gatekeeper in the bureaucratic sense. The watcher is a fuse in the circuit that prevents the voltage of the full transmission from burning out the receiver before the receiver is. Addison says the 38 tires are the 30 levels. You have completed when you can enter the 8th tire without the watcher stopping you, which means the watcher stops you not as obstruction, but as measurement. You cannot pass what you cannot sustain. The Messiah is the degree you have earned by becoming the instrument that can read at that level without distortion. No. My book, The Algerian Desert 30 size called Signals. Burroughs says Crowley called the 30 size in the Algerian desert, which is the correct location for calling 38. No historical need sheds the sound and beside the frequency below the frequency that the city covers with itself, the desert, is the Akashic Reader's natural laboratory. No interference, just the prepared instrument. Deciding at each threshold whether what arrived is ready for what's next. Gysin sees sight. I was in the Algerian desert, I was in Morocco, while was in the freaking spark through life found in 1909. I did not call the siles by name, I called them by walking by the most conditions of nature. At the unprepared only as music, which is also fine music, is the watcher. For those who are not ready for what the music is the door to. The living record every thought preserved, not judged. The record does not grade, it keeps. Burroughs says, the archive that keeps without grading is the archive. Understood something about information that institutions haven't grading is. Selection is the loss of what wasn't selected and what wasn't selected. It's often the most important thing the Akashic record's value is not that it keeps the important things, it is that it keeps everything and leaves the determination of importance to the reader who arrives at the correct level to read with the prepared instrument that can handle the full unedited archive. This insights the cut attempts to build a reading method for the full unedited archive. Take the text cut, it read what the cut produces without grading, without selecting for the comfortable or the familiar or the confirming. Read what is there, all of it simultaneously, which is what the Akashic record. Everything simultaneously. In a medium that doesn't select, waiting for the instrument prepared enough to read without selecting either. The Akashic record was just the discovery that the universe keeps better records than any institution. And that the records are available to the instrument that has been prepared to read them, without converting them immediately into what the instrument already believed, which is the hardest preparation available, and the one that takes the longest and produces the most when completed. DJ Shen Watcher was just the name D gave to the intelligence that measures by the simple method of standing there and seeing if what arrives can sustain the frequency without burning, which is the only initiation test that cannot be faked or bribed or argued with you. Either hold the frequency, see hold the faking. No more every thought preserved, alongside every cosmos. I did the almost their spark through wild. I did design down this size circle with the image of thinking. Equally, watchers still at that threshold, an age of 30 hands. Immeasuring. No silent against the freaking singers of what's next. Are they prepared instrument? Yes. No, stopped. The music confirming itself. Yes. No, she don't need that one. Hey. I did one skanking down them. It won't be. I did a mirror monster entering the spectrum in what it reads. Steiner still reading. The Saturn warmth beside Tuesday. Equally, still the shed packed while they side. Kicking in us. In editing testing.